Hi, sis. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. And thank you also, Simnaya. And thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. I came across this video and this Project 25 being explained in details. And this really tells us that we really do need to be awake because I see a lot of people getting ready to make mistake again. I mean, this is not the first time or the second time they've been making mistake. This mistake is something that they've been continuously doing and then think that in the end it's not going to affect them. But now the truth is that this project 2025 is going to affect so many people, especially black and brown people. But then it is also going to affect palm colored people because some people think that they will be exempted. But when you go into details about this Project 2025, you will understand that it is actually going to affect everybody. And the earlier people start working towards doing the right thing, the better for them. Because reading this through this Project 25, I am really terrified. Like, it's kind of terrifying because it looks like people's rights are definitely going to be stripped. Or you being a human or being a woman also, you are also not safe as a woman. So it's going to really be very tough. But some people are not saying it that way. Why? Because this is what they know how to do best, how to vote against their own interests. Let's get into this video.
Project 2025 is calling for an end to no-fault divorce, and you guys need to know what that actually means, and if you do, still stick around because I'm going to show you how that combined with other things in Project 2025 is fucking terrifying. Everyone needs to know about this. Now, is it true that nowhere in that document it actually says no-fault divorce? Yes, but I'm going to show you why we can reasonably conclude that that is exactly what they mean. So buckle in. First things first, so what does a fault divorce mean? That means if somebody wants a divorce and their spouse says, no, I don't want one, then both of them have to go stand in front of a judge in a trial and prove why they should be granted a divorce. The person says, well, my spouse is abusive in some way or they're unfaithful. Do you have proof? They're going to ask you for proof. And if it's not sufficient in their eyes, you're not granted a divorce. Now, if Trump wins this year, he is going to appoint a shit ton of conservative judges. Keep that in mind when I'm showing you what's actually in Project 2025. Now, this is the actual document, and the title of this section is Goal Number 3, Promoting Stable and Flourishing Married Families. Last sentence here, these policies should be repealed or replaced by policies that support the formation of stable, married, nuclear families. Please pause to read above it. They say fathers insulate children from FA, financial difficulty or poverty, incarceration, yada yada. We know that fairly often after a divorce, the kids will primarily stay with mom. But they're saying here, fathers must remain in the home to protect against all these things, which is bullshit, by the way. Complaining about all the financial aid that they have to give single mothers when dad's not in the... Now, what they're saying here right above me is important, that new child support policies should strengthen marriage as the norm, restore broken homes, encourage unmarried couples to commit to marriage. Does this sound like they are in favor of divorce? Now, this is the part where I said that the no-fault divorce thing combined with other stuff in this document makes it so fucking terrifying. Because I've heard a lot of people say, well, I just won't get married then. What this is saying here right above me is that they're going to change the child support policies so that you can't financially afford to be a single mother or father. That you will need to rely on a spouse. Forcing people to either stay in marriages or enter into marriages that they don't want. Here they're talking about using funding to teach healthy marriages in school. Now, I wonder if that's going to have a faith-based component or not. And by the way, apparently, in this context, it's okay to talk about sex and relationships in the classroom. Oh, well, we have our answer about the faith-based stuff here. Grant allocations, government grant allocations should prioritize faith-based programs, including local churches, mentorship programs, teaching what it means to be a father. Here's another good one. They want to get rid of universal daycare and Head Start programs, and they're going to give you probably an abysmal amount of money so that you can watch your own children at home instead of work. Because they want you dependent on your spouse and unable to leave your marriage. And if you say, well, then I'm just not going to have kids then. Being that they're trying to do away with contraception and abortion, if you are SA'd by a stranger or your spouse, they want to make sure that nobody's going to be able to provide you health care, not because of laws, because they are trying to ensure that training for medical professionals, doctors, nurses, etc., does not include training to do these type of procedures. So let's put this all together. If you find yourself pregnant, whether it's by choice or not, and there are no doctors that are able to perform your procedure because they don't know how, you're going to get barely anything in child support. You can't work because you can't afford daycare. Oh, and by the way, forget about getting a new and maybe better boyfriend and having them live with you, because they're against that too. So you can't even get help from anybody else besides the father. Notice that it says non-related boyfriends are dangerous, so expect a policy. Them saying that you are not qualified for any kind of financial assistance if you live with a male figure that is not the father of your children. So you can't get a new partner or remarry. No stepdads here. Those homes are dangerous for children. Says right here. So with all those factors I just listed, it is forcing you to stay in a married nuclear family, no matter how toxic or dangerous it is. So with all that, do you actually think they are going to leave divorce alone? You are delusional if you think so. And here's some further proof on that. Here is Mike Johnson, Speaker of the fucking House, pushing for an end to no-fault divorce. And in states such as Louisiana, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and of course Texas, they're already starting to push the end of no-fault divorces. So don't tell me that I'm fear-mongering. This is what will happen nationwide if Trump wins in 2024. Oh, and for those of you who say, oh, Trump has nothing to do with Project 2025, right here on page 483, restore Trump religious and moral exceptions. And as my good friend Nick from New Jersey on here said, Trump's name is mentioned 312 times in that document. As a mental health professional, I can tell you that if Trump wins in 2024 and they put Project 2025 into place, which they will because they have already started, we are going to see rates of DV, SA, and other things exponentially increase. And with the way the GOP cuts mental health budgets, there already aren't enough of us to help everybody, and there's certainly going to be an even bigger problem in the future. And in terms of what we discussed in this video, you may think, well, I am in a happy marriage. This doesn't impact me. It will undoubtedly impact multiple people that you know. What would you do if your daughter, granddaughter, nieces, family, friends, godchildren were forced to live and stay with their abuser? Self-unalivings in women are going to skyrocket. And for the women who watch this and are still going to vote for Trump, shame on you. Because you're not voting against all other women in this country, but you're voting against your own self-interest. I hope people learn something here.
So I'm going to tag a good friend of mine in this video. And I want you to go back and watch her videos on Project 2025, because she's been doing phenomenal fucking work. But there's a part of it that is the impetus for this video. Project 2025 should literally just be renamed Project Come Fuck These White Boys and Have These White Babies. And give tax cuts to rich people. Mike Johnson, the square blockhead ass person that he is, the Speaker of the House, is saying that he wants an end to no-fault divorces. Right? That's the right's new thing. An end to no-fault divorces. They also, and it's in Project 2025, they want to scale back child support that men have to pay. They do. And as a person who has paid child support and didn't get no scale back, suck all of this dick. Shaft, balls, everything. I don't give a fuck. Okay? I paid child support. Nobody was out here looking out for me. And I have no sympathy for a motherfucker that bust off and run off. None. Sorry. I got no sympathy for you. But like I said, when you go back and watch my friend's video, you will understand why I called it that. Because at the end of the fucking day, Project 2025 wants to bring back the traditional nuclear family. And they ain't thinking about my black ass. Because I do not have a traditional nuclear family. I have a traditional blended family. I brought 4 kids, she got 4 kids, blah, 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 grandkids, everything else. So our shit isn't traditional, all right? But they wanted to bring back that biblical family value shit, which all basically comes down to there's not enough white boys getting laid. And they're going to make these white women fuck these white boys and have these white babies because heaven forbid the Negroes and the brown people take over. Project 2025 needs to be called that. Project, come fuck these white boys and make these white babies. That's what y'all need to do, man. That's what Project 2025 is. It's the Heritage Foundation, which consists of a bunch of rich white men trying to make it cool to be a white guy again and make white women want to fuck them to make these white babies, because the birth dearth and the great replacement theory is running around in their goddamn head like spider monkeys. Yeah, great replacement, yeah. And they want to give all the powers to one guy, make him a king, so that the king can say shit like, hey, go fuck that white boy. Hey, you pale ass white woman, go fuck that white boy. Did y'all expect me to be nice about this shit? No, I'm a blunt instrument, bitch. You want all the minutia details and shit. That's why I'm tagging my friend, because she has all the minutia and the details, and she's out here giving y'all the game. She's out here giving $1 million worth of game for $9.99. Me, I'm a blunt instrument, and I just cut to the motherfucking chase. Project 2025 is revenge of the white boys who couldn't get laid. It's the incel project, is what the fuck it is. That's what the fuck it comes down to. These people hate contraceptive. Why? Because it means a woman has a choice to fuck a guy and get rid of it. Whether it's abortion, whether it's the morning after pill, whether it's birth control so that your little raggedy child ain't coming out of this uterus. They hate that shit. They hate it. You got motherfucking state senators and state congresspeople talking about, yeah, we should send interracial marriage back to the states. Translation, y'all are not screwing in black guys. Nah, son. Nah. You got your choice, Chad or Brad, bitch. Go over and fuck one of them. But I don't like Chad or Brad. I like Jamal. He's bigger, he's sexier. You ever seen that cocoa skin? I don't give a fuck. Brad or Chad, bitch. Go over here and pick. And Brad and Chad want to work with the Heritage Foundation so that they have a steady job with a steady paycheck so that they can take care of this white woman who's having all these goddamn white babies. And that way, the great replacement theory is just a theory. I mean, seriously, is this how y'all work? This how y'all gonna gum up the game? This is what you're gonna do? This? You can't beat the game, so you've changed the rules. I just want to know, for all you guys that swear up and down that Project 2025 is a good thing, and there's pieces in it that talk about no-fault divorces and shit like that, and not having to pay child support, do y'all really want to be fathers and husbands? Or do y'all want all the rules of fathers and husbands without actually having to put in any of the motherfucking work? I hear live after live after live. And mind you, don't get me wrong, every child support story is different. I'll be the first person to say that. Mine is different than somebody else's. A lot of reasons. A lot of motherfucking reasons. Some of them fair, some of them unfair, and I understand it, but it's a case-by-case basis. But Project 2025 is like, nah, fuck that. Fuck that. All of them the same. Men shouldn't have to take care of any responsibilities financially. In fact, they should be forced to be in the house with the woman they got pregnant, who's now their fucking wife. Oh, and by the way, especially when it comes to no fault, I don't give a fuck what you do to her, she can't leave you. Part of the game is that. How you do a cheat code to make a motherfucker want to stay with you? How? I mean, these people aren't even taking into consideration that we got some creepy ass uncles, some creepy ass cousins, some creepy ass dads out there that are looking at their daughters like pork chops, ready to smother their ass with applesauce and shit. So what part of Project 2025 is that? Oh, I'm sorry. Your father did that? Yeah, we gonna let you go. Come on over here. We gonna take care of that. Don't worry about that. Nope, that ain't in there either. I don't know what part of the Bible that came from. Maybe I got the wrong edition. But there are parts of Project 2025 that sound like Ronald Reagan is having sex with an incel while toxic sludge pours into the fucking rain, out in the open. And there's like a chorus line of women that are like being denied access to do whatever the fuck they want to do with their own bodies. It's a musical that nobody want to go watch. Which is why I keep saying, Project Eat This Dick. EDD. Again, I'm not voting for Biden. I'm not voting for Trump. I'm not voting against Biden. I'm not voting against Trump. I'm voting against the Heritage Foundation. And I'm talking virulently, nastily about the motherfuckers. What want me to do? What you want me to do? Play nice? Fuck them. Eyebrows, stiff janks, covenant fuck you sauce for everybody in the Heritage Foundation. But can we just call it what the fuck it is? Project cut my taxes so I can fuck up your water. Oh, and go marry that white boy and have some more than white babies. That's all it comes down to. That's all it comes down to. Because I'm going to tell you something. When they're talking about their traditional family marriages, they don't give a fuck about anybody other than white people. They don't. They don't. They don't. That's why I can't stand motherfuckers like Mark Robinson out here talking that shit. And Byron Donalds out here talking that shit. Hey, Byron. Hey, Byron. I get it. You're in an interracial relationship and you've taken on the mannerisms and things of your wife. I too am in an interracial relationship. I'm still as black as a trillion midnights. Fuck you doing? They don't like your bitch ass either. They gonna fuck your marriage up too. Hey, Clarence Thomas. I know your ass is creeping somewhere up in Harlan Crow's taint, but guess what, motherfucker? If they send that shit back to the States, bitch, you and Jenny ain't gonna be together no more. It's an incel victory parade. Literally, these motherfuckers wrote that. I wonder how many people that authored Project 2025 are also secretly some incels. I know Date Right Stuff dude is. That motherfucker couldn't get a date with a gun, a net, a fucking ransom note, and the goddamn CIA and FBI helping him. So how many incels helped write Project 2025? I think we should know that. Hey, you wrote this bullshit about no-fault divorce and marriages and shit like that? Yep, sure did. Where's your woman at? I ain't got one. Why not? Don't no woman want me. Then you shouldn't be writing fucking legislation for the rest of us. Just call it that. Project A, go fuck them white boys and make some white babies. I mean, it doesn't roll off the tongue like Project 2025. But I mean, seriously. Sound like it was written by a bunch of fucking deregulating, tax-cutting fucking incels who want to make babies, but don't want to take the responsibility and pay for them. Like I said, sound like some bullshit to me. Project Eat This Dick is what I'm going on.
We need to talk about it. Project 2025. What is it? Who wrote it? Where did it come from? The entire far-right blueprint is 920 pages and 30 chapters. You're not going to read all that. I don't expect you to. And if you haven't even heard of Project 2025, that's okay too. But you do need to know what's in it because it's pretty terrifying. Think a playbook for Handmaid's Tale, essentially turning the US into Gilead. I've looked for some good, easy explanations of Project 2025, and there really aren't that many. This is going to be the most comprehensive and simple explanation of 2025 that you're going to get. So background, Project 2025 dates back to 1973. That's when the Heritage Foundation, a very powerful conservative think tank based in Washington, D.C., was founded. They are the writers and the architects of Project 2025. And their main mission and goal is to move America to a more far-right Christian nationalist state. They originally came to prominence when they wrote their first manifesto in 1981 titled A Mandate for Leadership. And get this. Those very same policies were the ones that were used and implemented in the Reagan administration. Seriously, around 60% of the 2,000 proposals written in the manifesto were implemented by Reagan. So now they're back again with a new edition, and this new edition is known as Project 2025. And it's supposed to provide guidance for the Don or whoever becomes the next Republican president. And these 900 pages and 30 chapters are written by professors, doctors, scientists, lawyers, scholars on each subject. And they've divided Project 2025 into 4 main pillars. The first is policy, which is this big book. The second is personnel. They're creating this huge conservative database, think LinkedIn, but for DJT loyalists. The third pillar is training. They set up this online educational system called the Presidential Administration Academy, where they teach their views and ideology in a course. And the fourth is called Playbook, which is an action game designed for how they're going to get everything done. Now let's get into some of the very concerning things on their wish list for DJT's second term. Starting off strong on pages 450 to 503, They're calling for a complete ban on abortions. Not very shocking. Page 319, they're saying the Department of Education should be eliminated. And in addition to calling for its elimination, they state that any school that requires a vaccine or mask mandate will not receive federal funding. Page 482, eliminate the Head Start program. Page 675, calling for the elimination of NOAA and the National Weather Service. Because these organizations, and I quote, have become one of the main drivers of climate change alarm industry and as such is harmful to the future U.S. prosperity. Page 133, they call for the complete dismantling of the Department of Homeland Security. In addition, they argue for the elimination of the FBI along with the Department of Justice. Page 5, they call for a complete ban on corn, writing that corn should be outlawed, the people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned, and anyone else who participates or facilitates it should be registered. Page 104, reverse policies that allow transgender individuals to serve in the military. Gender dysmorphia is incompatible with the demands of the military service, and the use of public monies for transgender surgeries or to facilitate abortion for service members should be ended. And there's so much more, including the possibility of ending birthright citizenship, banning African American and gender studies in all levels of education, calling for an ending of any DEI programs, getting rid of gay marriage, ending the Affordable Care Act, and it also calls for the mass deportation of immigrants and proposes a plan to round up illegal migrants and lock them up and put them in camps. But perhaps one of the most troubling and well thought out plans is the move to reclassify federal workers under what is known as Schedule F. Now, I'm going to get a little HR heavy, but please stick with me because it's so important. Now, there are two types of federal employees. The first group are merit-based workers. These are career positions. These people have earned them through going to school, getting work experience. They're either considered experts or they could be a part of the support staff. These people are hired because they know their stuff. Think an engineer at NASA or a scientist at the FDA. And their federal jobs have protections. Now, the other class are at-will or appointed workers. These employees tend to serve at the pleasure of the president or the administration, which basically means they can be fired or replaced at any time. To put it all in context, there are about 2 million of the first class of merit-based employees and only about 4,000 political appointed ones. Under this new plan of Schedule F, they'd reclassify a bunch of the regular civil servants into political appointees. That way the Don can replace them with loyalists. Now, how does replacing all of these people help him carry out his plan? Let's do an example. Under Schedule F, DJT could take a scientist at the FDA, fire him, and then replace him with, let's say, a scientist who wouldn't give clearance to birth control or the abortion pill, therefore making it illegal and inaccessible without having to go through the courts, without having to go through Congress. By the way, they specifically lay this out in the plan in the 900 pages. Now, remember what I said about the whole conservative LinkedIn? That's the database they're going to use to fill these positions. A bunch of unqualified loyalists. And in October of 2020, actually, DJT tried to do this. He tried to implement Schedule F. He signed it into order, but then he lost in November. And the whole thing was pretty much a secret, but Biden then immediately repealed it. But if he wins this time, they say it'll be one of the first acts of his presidency. Now, the Don has come out and said he doesn't know anything about this Project 2025 and has been trying to distance himself from it. But at least 26 authors and people who are associated with Project 2025 served in his very own administration, including Russ Voigt, John McKinty, Stephen Miller, and many others. Also, his own platform, Agenda 47, just sounds like a SparkNotes version of Project 2025. The president of the Heritage Foundation is calling Project 2025 the New American Revolution. The second DJT term could lead the way.
So this is all I got from this video. And the truth is that a lot of people have refused to see reasons why people are trying to boycott somebody, but they do not want to go there because, you know, they know how to get in their own, I don't know, get in other people's skin or something and get away with it. Like, I hear a lot of people saying it might be a good thing for us, this project 2024, 2025. The reality is that it's going to hit everybody real soon. There is nothing great about this project. And the fact that they've been lying about this project and saying that they are not in connection with it is really very telling. It tells how they do not even want to, how they do not want to let people know that they are the ones, or he is the one doing it and all that. And you all remember Heritage Foundation which actually came out to say that if anything happens and if people do not take the election the way it goes and all that, that is going to be blood and deal and all that. And you remember also that what's his name? Trump also made a post saying that he is disconnecting himself from it, that he got nothing to do with him, only for a video to surface to find out that both of them are all working hand in hand. It is really going to be tough. A lot of things will be stripped off you. I mean, your human rights. Because what is the essence of living when you do not have your rights or your shit all together? It's really going to be tough. Some people might be like, it's not going to affect me now. Eventually, it will affect you, because there is this adage that says, when it touches nose, it touches, when it touches nose, it touches eyes, and all that. So the earlier we take all this seriously, the better for us, because it is really going to be not good. It will really be a very horrifying one, because, I mean, what kind of project is all this that you want to turn everybody to a moron? Because what's the essence of stripping away somebody's right? Taking away somebody's right means the person got nothing to, like, I mean, all their lives and all that is being controlled. So what? It's more like being a fascist, because when you're a fascist, you know what happens that, I mean, like a country that does not practice democracy and the rest of it, it's really going to be tough. For those that are saying it's going to really be a very miserable time for a lot of people and the rest of it. That's why we've been telling them, make sure you do not vote against your own interest, because this is what they know how to do best. And then in the end, they will tell you that it was all mistake. There is no mistake right now, because you all are seeing everything happen right now. You all are seeing everything also leaking, because if let's assume that this project 2025 that has been, I know this is not the first time this project 2025 started, but now we can see everything they have in stock, because both the paper and all that all appeared, like it's all out, and people can also read it to also understand their mindset. Like I have been saying, I've been seeing them moving around trying to campaign and all that, but I have not really seen them read their manifesto or tell people what they want to do, or as when they become the president and all that. But you can see everything written all over from that project 2025 that it's not going to be a good one. It's really going to be tough. From taking away people's right, especially people that look like me, our civil rights will be taken right for, there are some certain things I cannot say here, but you already know how it is. And the earlier, the better for every one of us. And the earlier some people know that they are not supposed to vote against their interests, the better for them. And I hope you all listen, because it's going to be a very tough one. And yeah, see you all in my next video. Bye for now.